Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast. We are back in AZ, so my husband's back here doing the episode again, and we're back in our little apartment. So, yeah, it's been a little bit since we've recorded an episode. We've been really busy, and we recently got back from our 3-year anniversary trip. So we've been married 3 years. Look at us. Yeah. And we went to Disneyland, which was my first time ever going to any Disney parks ever. I would never had been before. I still haven't been to Disney World. So it was just, yeah. So we're going to be spending this episode talking about our experience in Disneyland, what I think overall with it being my first time and everything. I know a lot of people probably going to say, oh, but like Disney World is better. I haven't been there yet. But when I go, I will compare and contrast both parks and see which one I like better. But so we went for 2 days, which was it was the 15th and 16th?
Yeah.
Of August. So it was a Tuesday and Wednesday. So it was still significantly busy, I think, because it was still, I guess, kind of like summer, maybe like the last week of summer. Mm-hmm. So it was still kind of like busy. I thought it would be less busy, knowing that we were going in the middle of August with school starting. I thought there would be less people, but there was still a significant amount of people there. But so I have a map because I don't remember all the rides there. I don't want to miss anything. So we didn't ride like every single ride that was there since we were only there for 2 days, but we rode like a vast majority of the rides. I think we rode a lot of the ones that we actually wanted to ride, and like whenever we go back to Disneyland, then we'll just ride the other stuff with it too. So, I mean, when we first got there, it had started sinking in because we had talked about how we were going to go to like Disneyland, and I didn't seem super excited because it didn't sink in. And then we got there, and I'm gonna sound like a complete Disney adult nerd. I cried when we walked in the park. Tears of joy. It was okay. It probably wasn't actually like a cry, but my eyes were watering. Like tears of joy. Like we were literally walking in. So like you walk in, and there was like Mickey Mouse was standing there with his friends, and like a band was playing. You walk down to all the little stores and stuff, and then you get to the statue of like Walt Disney and Mickey, and Sleeping Beauty's castle in the background. My eyes were watering because it had sunk in that like I was there. I was at the place that I've been wanting to be at my entire life. And so I was watery eyed, like, holy crap, I am actually here. It took me about 20 years to get here because I wanted to go since I was a little kid and never got to go. So I was over the moon excited. Like I didn't want to leave. Like I got so sad when we left. But it was an awesome experience. So I'm going to briefly go over the rides we went on, ones that we liked, ones that we didn't like and stuff. But this was not Brian's first time at the park. You have gone to Disneyland before, but it's been a long time since you've been.
Yeah. Last time I went to Disneyland was in 2001.
And it's 2023, so that's like
it's been a while.
22 years.
Yep. I've been to Disney World more recently, but it's been a while since Disneyland.
Yeah, so we were both kind of still like wandering around where everything is because, you know, things change in 20 years and stuff like that. So, but he had been there before, so he remembered some of the stuff that was still there, that was there and stuff, and some of the rides and things. But yeah, so yeah, there's the main street. I don't remember the exact order that we rode things in. I know the first ride we rode was Small World.
Yep. And
I have vowed to never ride that ride again. Because, okay, so the ride itself, I liked the representation that the ride itself had. Like the idea of you see all the different dolls from like the different cultures of the world and everybody singing together and about how, you know, it's a small world and we should all like stick together and be together and stuff. Like I liked that. Like that part of the ride, and like visually it was good. I just hate the song. It is on repeat the whole ride. I've never been a fan of the song. It's annoying. I had it stuck in my head the whole day. And even when you're walking up to the ride, they're playing the song when you're loading up to go in the. So hey, there's no escape from it. We wrote it first so I could get it over with. We really went there. Had like not even a 5-minute wait. It was like it. So yeah, the ride itself was fine. I like the representation. It's just I just don't like the song. And plus, we had heard a story about a guy who got trapped on the Small World ride and had to listen to that song for like 30 minutes straight. I would no. No, thank you. I would have just climbed myself out. But it's also just a nice ride to ride if you have kids or whatever else. But I don't know if I would ever ride it again. Maybe I would just ride it if I went to Disneyland with somebody who had never been there. I'm like, okay, well then just ride it to ride it. And then but I myself, I'm not going to go to Disneyland going, I want to ride Small World. I don't think anybody does. If you're that person, I'm sorry. There are way better rides than that. Just say that now. What'd you think of Small World, honey?
It's all right.
He didn't like it either.
I mean, it's one of those more iconic rides at Disneyland and Disney World.
Oh, it's at Disney World?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I don't have to ride there. Every road in Disneyland, I don't have to ride in Disney World. Same thing, see?
Yeah, it's at both parks.
Yeah, not really something I would probably ever ride again. But yeah, so that's Small World. Like I said, I don't remember the exact order that we rode stuff in, so I'm just gonna remember the rides that we have rode or ridden or whatever it is. Space Mountain. I liked Space Mountain. The wait time was a little bit long. It's like 45 minutes, but most of the waiting we did for Space Mountain, we were inside anyway. So like we were like outside and stuff. But it's an indoor coaster, but it's all in the dark. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is that you just ride the whole coaster in the dark, so it's like you're traveling like through space and stuff. I see why it's a very popular ride at Disneyland. I did really like that one. That was one that we had considered riding again, but with the wait times just being so long, it's like, well, yeah. But it was a really good ride. If you go to Disney, I would recommend riding Space Mountain. Either get there early or something. But like, I mean, I still feel like it wasn't as bad of a wait. Maybe time just went by faster. I don't know. Did you? I know you would like Space Mountain, right, honey?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good one.
Brian is a fun person to ride roller coasters with. He's very much. He makes me laugh because we'll be riding on a coaster and he's the guy that's screaming, I want my mommy, jokingly the whole time we're on coasters, and I just crack up laughing every time. And it's just so hilarious. So I think he was doing that one on Space Mountain. Yeah, probably. Which is funny because he's a grown man. So I'm like, I wonder if somebody's going to think that he's serious and you're just, So, while we were, we had lunch over by the Space Mountain area. There's the Pizza Planet restaurant. Yeah. That was kind of cool. It wasn't as cool as the Pizza Planet in Toy Story. Like, there wasn't, like, the guard standing up front going, like, welcome to Pizza Planet. Like, that wasn't a thing. But, like, we had pizza at Pizza Planet. It had, like, the little planet tables. And so I thought it was pretty cool. It's a very popular place, though, because when we rode Space Mountain in the morning, nobody was there. And then we come back for lunch, and, like, every single table is just taken. And luckily, we found an empty one, but it was good. I mean, decent pizza, but it was kind of cool that there was like a Pizza Planet restaurant that we had lunch at. So, oh yes, another one of my favorites, the Matterhorn bobsleds.
Yeah, that was fun.
I liked that one. That one it's a coaster, I would say, yeah, where you basically just load up into bobsled-looking coaster rides, and you travel through the mountain, and things pop out at you. There was a Yeti that popped out at one point. It's this whole it's a lot of fun. That one also has a long wait time. It's very popular. I think while we were waiting in line, it had shut down or it broke down, and they had to do some test runs on it while we were still in line. So I think our wait time was a little bit longer on that one.
Yeah.
But they had two sides of it loading up and going. So once they got everything back up and running, it was good again. So, but I really liked Matterhorn bobsleds. I would recommend that one. It's more of a thrill ride like Space Mountain, but it was a lot of fun. I would ride that one again for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one was a lot of fun. You liked that one too, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fun.
It's yeah, I liked the bobsled, and you can always hear it going too. Like when you're walking around the park, you can hear it going, like on the track and stuff. So
the Toads.
We did Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Mr. Toad's Wild Ride a lot. That one was really fun. So we rode it the first time. Wait time wasn't too bad. So you get in there, you like load up in like this little car, and then you're okay. For those of you who are listening, quote unquote, driving in quotations, driving a car through like the Mr. Toad's like adventure thing. But it was still a lot of fun because it's like a little swerve here and there and stuff. But still a super fun ride. We tried to ride a second time, but it broke down.
Yep.
When we were super close to, that was a constant thing for us. I don't know if this happens a lot in Disney or if this was just the day that we were there, both days we were there. A lot of rides were breaking down. Either like right before, it was always like right before we would get on too. Mm-hmm. It would just break down. And sometimes we would come back and it was fine. And like sometimes it would be, we get in line 2 or 3 times and it still broke down. We're like, okay. So I don't know if that's a common thing to happen in Disneyland. If you go a lot, let us know. Or if we just had bad luck and things just shut down on us. Luckily, we got to ride most of the rides we wanted to, and they just broke down later. But it was still just kind of like, why y'all rides keep breaking down all the time? Like, y'all need to fix something if they're breaking down a lot. But luckily, we didn't get stuck on any rides.
No.
So we got lucky because that happened to us on our honeymoon. We got stuck on one ride, but it was right at the end, so it wasn't too bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this wasn't a ride, but you can go in the castle. So in Disneyland, it's Sleeping Beauty's castle. So we walked up in there, and it kind of had just like the storybook and went through the whole story of like Sleeping Beauty. So I guess that was pretty fun. It was really hot in there though. There's like no AC in there. But I mean that was fun. I mean, it wasn't really a ride. It was just, you just walked through the castle.
Yeah.
It was probably Brian's favorite one.
I mean,
So we didn't ride the teacups. I know that's like an iconic ride, but we didn't ride the teacups. Brian doesn't do super well on super spinny rides. And so I figured it would be less an embarrassment if he didn't go on the spinny rides and throw up in front of everybody. So
I don't think I've thrown up. I probably just would have gotten sick and then would have been sick like most of the day. And
so we were just, plus I've been on a ride like that at other amusement parks and they're okay. It's not like, I mean, maybe if I went there with somebody and we wanted to do it just to say we rode like the iconic teacups, then like maybe, but I mean, we walked by multiple times and we're like, oh yeah, there's the teacup ride. What was the train ride?
Thunder Mountain?
Big Thunder Mountain. I loved Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Here it is, yeah. That one is also another little like coaster train ride. It was pretty fun. I liked a lot of the actual coaster rides. I'm a roller coaster person. I like the thrill rides. I like the coasters, things with drops, stuff like that. I am all about that. I'm not really a person to say no to a ride unless it's like super shaky. But like I loved the Big Thunder Mountain coaster. We only got to ride that one once. Wait time was medium long. I feel like that one moved a lot faster than a lot of the other ones that we were waiting in line for. But that was also a really big iconic one. So I liked the big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
Thunder Mountain ride. For those who didn't know, Splash Mountain is actually closed at Disneyland now. So if you ever got the chance to ride that in the past, that's no longer there. They're changing it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So I unfortunately never got the chance to ride Splash Mountain in my lifetime. But I think Brian rode it. Right?
Probably. It's been a long time.
You don't remember riding it?
But, yeah, that was, I think, more of like a water ride.
Yeah, so I never got to ride it, but the Tiana's Bayou is gonna be like a little restaurant and stuff with it. Looks like it'll be a lot of fun. So if you're going to Disneyland next year, that'll be a new ride there, and y'all can ride that and see if it's any good.
And also one that you forgot to mention that's over by the Toads ride is Peter Pan.
Okay, before people come at me, I have my own opinions. Okay, so Peter Pan is a decent Disney movie. I honestly grew up watching different versions of Peter Pan than the Disney one, so I don't particularly like the Disney version as much. But it was a Peter Pan ride. It was one of the older ones. I was like, okay, let's go on it. When we got in line for the Peter Pan ride, the wait time was 35 minutes. And the Peter Pan ride is one of those rides. If you've been to Universal Studios in Florida, it's like the E.T. ride. And if you still know what I'm talking about, you essentially just, for Peter Pan, you sit in a pirate ship and you basically just fly along, and they take you through like the whole story of like Peter Pan and stuff. So that's the whole ride. Personally, waiting 35 minutes for it was not worth it in my opinion. If we had like a 5-minute wait time, it'd be like, yeah, we hop on, it was a decent ride and get off. But we were in line for 35 minutes to ride a essentially 5-minute ride, if that.
It wasn't even 5 minutes.
It wasn't even 5 minutes. So I'm not trying to diss on the ride itself. I just feel like if we were in line for like 5 minutes and then we rode, it'd be like, yeah, that was fun. But the fact that we waited in line for 35 minutes to ride a less than minute long ride, I was just kind of like, meh. I'm pretty sure I got a little sunburn because the waiting queue for that one was out in the sun. So
yeah, it was pretty hot just sitting in line like that.
Yeah. So that was not fun either. So and then probably one of like my favorite parts over by Tiana's Bayou, we had the little critter country. And for those of you who saw my Facebook post, my ultimate favorite Disney character of all times is Winnie the Pooh. Ask anybody I know, and that is my favorite character. So obviously, me being the Winnie the Pooh fan, I come to Disneyland wearing my Winnie the Pooh shirt. And you could stand over there and meet Winnie the Pooh. We stood in line like 5 minutes because Winnie the Pooh had to go eat some honey, and then he came back to meet Winnie the Pooh. And I almost cried right there too. You may think that that's childish of a 26-year-old to cry, meaning, you know, Winnie the Pooh at Disneyland. But it was probably one of the... I could have left after that and would have been happy with my entire day. Because I remember telling Brian, when are we going to get to the career corner to see Pooh Bear? When are we going to see Pooh Bear? We was like... And so we went there. I stood in line, and I started to get all emotional again. I was like, "Look, like you're on my shirt. Like I love Winnie the Pooh so much." And like I'm starting to tear up again now talking about it. So like, it was the best thing ever. And people probably thought I was weird as a grown adult woman hugging Peter Pan, but not Peter Pan, but hugging Pooh Bear. But it was amazing. And Brian just stood there and judged me probably. That was fun. And then Eeyore came out, but Eeyore didn't stay in a spot. You had to chase him. It was essentially, Eeyore will take pictures with you, but he's going to be walking around. So there was like 50 of us just following Eeyore around. You could finally butt him and be like, Eeyore, can I get a picture with you? So I got a picture with Eeyore too. We missed Tigger, but that's okay. I mostly just wanted to see Winnie the Pooh. And then after that, we went on the Winnie the Pooh ride, which is probably also going to be one of my favorites because it's a Winnie the Pooh ride based on the main adventures of Winnie the Pooh. They had a whole room for the Hempel, Lumps, and Woozles song. And I'm singing it, and Brian's just looking at me like I'm a weirdo. But we rode the Winnie the Pooh ride twice because I joked that we were going to ride it more times, but I didn't want to torture Brian that much with it, so we just rode Winnie the Pooh ride twice. But no, if you go to Disneyland with me, you will probably at least be riding Winnie the Pooh at least twice in your trip. So that is an almost guarantee there because that one was fun. And you got to ride in like a little honeycomb ride. It was so fun. It was fun. So, unfortunately, we also didn't get to ride Haunted Mansion because it was closed. Because they were renovating it for the Halloween season. So it was going to turn into like a Nightmare Before Christmas thing, which also sounds super cool. So still have never been on a Haunted Mansion ride. So I guess whenever we go to Disney World, we'll have to ride it. Mm-hmm. So I never got to ride it. It actually closed the day before we went to Disneyland. And so I was a little bit upset about that, but it is what it is. So I'm sure I'll get to ride it at some point in the future. So I have not been on the Haunted Mansion ride yet.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I know it's a popular big favorite one.
Yeah.
So, but we got to ride probably I think another one of Brian's favorites. We did get to ride the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which did have a long wait time, but the lines did move pretty consistently with that one. I feel like. Mm-hmm. So that one was fun. We rode that one twice. There was a nice little drop at the beginning where we all screamed, and that one was fun. I'm not super big on skeletons, so it was a little creepy, but it was also just like a more fun, chill ride, just to kind of get out of the heat and just kind of ride around. And so we really liked the Pirates ride. I know Brian's a super big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Mm-hmm. So that one was fun. Am I missing anything? Oh, Star Wars Land. Now, I know when Brian went to Disney, they didn't have Star Wars Land last time.
No.
So,
even Disney World, last time I was at Disney World was 2011, and it's before all that. So, yeah, it's the first time going to Galaxy's Edge.
Which I know Brian was really looking forward to because he's a big Star Wars fan. So
yeah,
we didn't get to see everything in Galaxy's Edge because we wanted to ride the rides, and the Star Wars rides had a 45-minute to an hour wait time. So we were more focused on trying to get there and get on the rides because they were so popular. But it was so cool. There was like a big old like Millennium Falcon, and we saw like the Mandalorian guy walking around with Baby Yoda and stuff. So it was pretty fun. So I'll start with the first one we went on is the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. That one was pretty fun because you got to there were like 6 people. So you had like 2 ship drivers, I want to say 2 gunners and 2
2 engineers,
which is what me and Brian were both times, because that one you just had to push buttons. And so essentially people in front are like flying like the ship, and you're all like going through this adventure of trying to like escape and stuff, and it was pretty fun. The first time we rode it, we couldn't get it to start, and the guy had to come in and like flip a switch, and then we got to work. But it was pretty fun. It's one of those ones where it's very much you ride it and then you feel like everything. So like if like on like the like projector screen you like hit something, you're gonna feel it like in the ship. So it's like you're actually in there. But like when you were kind of like waiting to go in, they took you in like, where did we go into, honey? You know better. Like when we were walking, like was that like the Millennium Falcon we were walking around in?
Yeah, it was the Millennium Falcon. And there's like that like whole chess table thing there, and it's basically that room where Luke is like training, where with that droid thing flying around. Mm-hmm. It was that room basically.
So yeah, if you've seen Star Wars, you'll know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We did ride that one twice. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would say it was worth the wait. I feel like it was a lot of fun to be and feel like the motion of the ship doing everything. Like, so we were engineers, so we just had to push buttons that lit up. So it's just push buttons, fix stuff. Because when they was like, you're gonna be an engineer, I was like, I'm not good at fixing things. Mm-hmm. But that was fun.
I was gonna also say that something that I thought was pretty cool. So, whenever you start the ride and you're like taking off from like that whole Galaxy's Edge area, so we rode the ride twice. The first time was in the daytime, so everything was daytime, like as you're leaving Galaxy's Edge. But when we rode it at nighttime, they actually had it like look like it was nighttime outside, which I thought was pretty cool.
Now.
Yeah.
But I think me and Brian can agree on what our favorite ride was. So the second Star Wars ride, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
That one, for sure, 100% is worth the 45-minute to hour wait. This ride was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And you can see where how much money and time was put into this ride. There is a lot involved in this ride. So I'm trying to remember correctly, and Brian will probably chime in if I forget anything. So you wait to get on, and how did it start out? I can't remember how it started.
So, the first thing is you go into this room, and BB-8's in there, and then
so BB-8 and Ray and talking to you about how they need your help with stuff, and then you go outside, right? Mm-hmm. And you load up onto what was that ship?
It was just like a little, I don't know, cargo ship or whatever.
Cargo ship, and okay. This ride is so trippy, I'm telling you. So you go into the cargo ship, and then the door closes. So there's a door on your right side. It closes. Okay, door closes. You can't see outside. The weird alien-looking dude's blabbing on to you about stuff, whatever else. So you're just standing there. There's a little bit of motion, kind of like you guys flew somewhere. 5-10 minutes later, we got captured by the Kylo Ren.
Yeah, the First Order.
That one. We got captured by the First Order. The doors open. You are no longer outside. You are now in a room full of stormtroopers that are ready to shoot you. And I'm trying to figure out how that happened. Either we dropped down somewhere and didn't feel it, because it's the same door that opened. It's not like it was a door. It was the same door that opened. So either we dropped down somewhere and we were underground and all that, which I think makes the most sense, because when you finish the ride, you you come out in a totally different spot. So I think that's how it works, but I'm still trying to figure out how it works. So the door opens, they're like, oh, you guys have been kidnapped, and so you gotta walk by the creepy stormtroopers, and then they divide you up into little groups, like you're gonna go in here for interrogation and blah blah blah. So you go into this little room, and then you're like, oh, you're stuck in here. And then Brian was standing right in front of the door that was supposed to open, so I see the people breaking us out type thing. And then we got into these little, I don't even know what they were called, but you just load up into this little thing that you normally rides in, little thing, and the bar comes down, and they're like, okay, don't get caught, and you just blast the crap on out of there. You're just dropping, you're moving around everywhere, you see Kylo Ren, you're spinning around everywhere, it's like you're playing air hockey with yourself, and you're just all over the place.
Kind of, yeah, it's cool because this cart that you're in, it's not on a track. It kind of just moves just on the ground, and
you're moving forwards, backwards. You drop down at one point.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and we had finished that ride, and I was like, that was worth every minute of waiting. It was so much fun. And how much work was put into it, because when it ends, you just end outside and you just unload. It was so much fun, because it wasn't just you felt like you were in Star Wars games capture, because it had the stormtroopers and everything, but it was you're just being flung around, and Kylo Ren almost kidnaps you and all this stuff, and you're just, I don't know, maybe I just really enjoyed the movement of everything.
Yeah.
But
it makes it really interactive, I guess, and and it feels like the ride's a lot longer, instead of just doing one thing, you're on the car. It's all these different things going on, so it feels like the ride feels like it takes a while.
Right. But it was absolutely amazing. I think that was my favorite Disneyland ride. And we tried to go ride again, and then when we got close again, it had unfortunately shut down.
Yeah, we were literally at the very end of the line. And
front.
Yeah. The end of the line. Almost to the ride, and it shut down. And they had no idea when it was going to open back up, or if it was going to open back up, so we just left and did Smuggler's Run again.
Yeah. And then I think it opened back up at some point later, but the line was long again. But we were just if we don't know if it's going to be longer in an hour, I don't want to be sitting here for an hour. We can go be doing something else. And we had technically already ridden it, so we were fine, but we were also disappointed because we wanted to ride it again.
Yeah.
And we had so we got 2-day tickets, but we bought one for each park. So it's not like we were able to come back the next day and ride it again. But now we know that one's our favorite. Maybe in the future we'll plan to get there early and just ride that one as early as possible, since we know we actually really like that one a lot.
Yeah. And I know they have those rides at Disney World too, the same ones.
Okay, so then when we're fine for when we go to Disney World. Did I cover all of the Disneyland ones?
Oh, Jungle Cruise.
Yes, we did ride Jungle Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was fun. I think if the conductor who like drives the little Jungle Cruise boat wasn't as fun as they are, the ride would be incredibly boring. But they're pretty fun. I mean, it's just one of those really kind of nice, chill rides to ride again.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I like about Disney is that they have the thrill rides and then they have the chill rides.
Yeah.
They have the thrills and the chills. So it was, it was Jungle Cruise. So, yeah. But I think out of Disneyland, I think me and Brian both agree that Rise of the Resistance was our favorite ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it beat out Winnie the Pooh for me, but that's just because Smuggler's Run was more fun and Winnie the Pooh was more like an inner childhood thing. So I think that was the main difference. If there wasn't those Star Wars rides, then I probably would say that Winnie the Pooh was like my favorite or something. But, so yeah, highly recommend if you go to Disneyland, ride the Star Wars rides. Get there early, ride them, because they're a lot of fun. So I think we covered all of the rides that we rode in Disneyland. I mean, like I said, we did ride a couple of them twice, so, wait times were kind of long and stuff like that. But day 2, we went over to California Adventure, which I was really excited for because it had, like, Pixar Pier, and I'm a really big Pixar fan. Pixar movie. I like Pixar movies better than regular Disney movies, so I was really excited to go to Pixar Land and everything. So, one of the rides we went on twice was called Grizzly River Run. And that wasn't in Pixar Land. That was before we got to Pixar Land, which is essentially like one of those 8-person little, I don't know if they're boat things that you ride in.
Yeah, just
it's like an 8-person boat, and then you basically just go down to a bunch of waterfalls and stuff like that. It's like what almost any Six Flags park or amusement park would have. Just one of those 8-person raft boats you sit in. I love those rides. I love water rides and stuff. So we rode this one twice. The first time we rode it, we didn't get we got wet, but compared to the second time we rode it, which was also like 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so it wasn't super hot anymore. We were soaked so much worse the second time we rode it. We were like, where was this first time we rode it? But they did close down that ride while we were in line because the waves were too strong, or the rapids were too strong or something, so we had to wait for the rapids to calm down. So maybe that's why we got more wet the second time, is because the rapids were way more intense than the first time. But I mean, I liked it. I always liked those rides. So we did. Fun. We did ride them twice.
Two pretty good drops.
Yeah.
The second one was the best one.
2 pretty good drops. You will get wet, but it was still a lot of fun. So recommend riding that one. What was that one flying one, honey?
Soaring Around the World.
Yeah, so the first ride we rode there was Soaring Around the World. That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So essentially they put you in this seat. And we were in the front row. So we were, I think, the highest one up, right? Mm-hmm. So we were the last ones in line, but we got the front row, which was super nice. And so you sit in these seats, the safety bar thing comes down, and then
I think you're just in the seatbelt.
It was just a seatbelt.
Seatbelt, and your legs are dangling.
Yeah. Maybe it was I thought there was something overhead. Maybe not.
I thought it was just a seatbelt. I think it's just a seatbelt.
The seatbelt, and then each row of like seats all start like moving upwards. There was like 6 rows of people, and you're in front of this really big like IMAX screen, and so you feel like you're like flying. And there was a little bit of like movement. It was 4D at one point because I smelled grass, and I feel like there was a hint of like a mist splash at one point, like a very faint mist that happened.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fun if you just want like a chill little ride. It felt like you were kind of like flying through the air. We got there early enough that the wait wasn't as bad, because later on the line got longer, because we had thought about riding that one again, but it was all the way outside waiting, and we didn't want to do that again.
Yeah. Basically, you're just flying around different places around the world. Like I think was one of them was the Great Wall of China.
Mountains
And
you saw.
mountains and the last one was like actual Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
Flying over over the castle and everything, and as the fireworks were going off, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and then we rode the Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue ride, which is essentially just you load into a little ride and you're just going through the story of Monsters Inc. Mm-hmm. That one had a long wait time too. By the time we got to it, it was like 45 minutes.
And that was kind of the same way as Peter Pan, where it was like the hottest part of the day, and it was outside. So, like the ride was fun, but I don't know, it was worth waiting that long out in the sun.
So I liked it better than Peter Pan because I just like Monsters Inc. better than Peter Pan. But part of me is like, I don't know if it was worth the 45-minute wait time that we had to wait. So yeah, I don't know if it was worth the 45 minutes. I mean, when we got online, it wasn't too bad, but then like everybody behind us had like they had to wait a lot longer. So
yeah. And I think part of it though is, so there's the fast lane, the lightning lane, is what they call it, where people just pay extra and just use the lightning lane to skip the line. Like that whole line was kind of long, so they're giving priority mostly to those people, it seemed like. So our line was going pretty slow.
So I feel like that was part of the reason why we were waiting for so long, because I mean, they did also say on a lot of the assigns that if there are lightning lane people, they will go on the ride first before the people who are actually waiting in line. But it did get kind of annoying because at one point I feel like they were only serving those people, even though our line was still getting a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because at one point I watched and they were loading people in, but it was all just people in that line, even though our line was still longer. So, but maybe they were trying to keep it going because it's supposed to be the lightning lane. You're not really supposed to wait in the line. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But if we did, whenever we go back, when we ride that one, we'll probably try to go earlier in the day as well, so we're not waiting as long. Because I don't think it was worth the 45 minutes, but I still really liked the Monsters Inc. So I just really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Spider-Man ride, the Web Slingers, which I won. So essentially, you're just like sitting in this like car, and you have these 3D glasses, and so it's based off of the Tom Holland Spider-Man, just in case anybody was curious. And you just essentially have to shoot your little spider web hands to catch the spider bots. And you're in a car with like 4 different other people, and you're doing that. And I was just like, getting every single one I can, just using both hands going at it. And I won, which is surprising because I'm normally really bad at those like shooting, aiming games and stuff. I'm normally really bad at those. So I was like, oh, I'm probably going to lose. And I was like in first place. It was like me, Brian, and like 2 other random strangers we were riding with. And I was like, I just beat all y'all. Maybe it's because I just don't like spiders. I was like, ah.
And yeah, this ride was also kind of cool because most of these rides, you actually have like a gun that you use that's part of the vehicle that you're in. But this ride, we actually just used our hands. Like we're actually like slinging webs from our hands. That's all we did, and that's how. And
it just caught the motion of it and everything. So
I thought that was kind of cool because
it was.
Never been on a ride like that before.
And then we walked around the Avengers campus. We saw Spider-Man, Black Panther. We saw Black Widow. Mm-hmm. We saw Loki, and then we met Captain America.
Yeah, we got a picture with him.
Oh, and I forgot, when we were in Disneyland, I also met the genie. Yeah, he was walking around.
That was the first one that you.
Yeah, that was the first one because we were just walking randomly, and he was there, and I was like, I want a picture of the genie. So he took one. But yeah, so we met Captain America. That was super fun. And then Loki was like walking around overhead, just like glaring at everybody. It was kind of just like, okay, dude, like go get life. One of my favorite areas of the park was Cars Land. So based on the movie Cars, they literally, like, if you've seen the movie Cars, it was literally just Radiator Springs town that you could walk through, and it was so cool because I like cars. Like they even had like the cones and everything, and that like the tire shop, the like Flo's gas station. We had lunch at that restaurant.
Yeah,
So
Flo's
yeah, and we
Cafe.
got an ice cream there. A lot of the rides there in Cars Lands though are obviously more like cars based, so there was a lot of like spinny rides. One of the ones we had went on was Mater's Graveyard Jamboree, which is essentially you just load into like a little tractor and then you just kind of just spun around in a circle. So if you don't like spinny rides, it probably wasn't the best one.
I mean, yeah, I don't really like spinny rides, but that one wasn't bad for me. It wasn't really that much spinning. I mean, you're kind of just like going around in big, like, figure eights, basically.
Yeah. And then there was the Luigi's Rockin' Roadsters, which was you'd get in the car and like the cars would do like a little like dance. So like they would play like, oh, like to the left and the right, and the cars would move like to the left and the right, or they'd spin around or something in a circle. So that one was fun. But the most popular ride was the Radiator Springs Racers, which was a lot of fun. And we tried to ride it a few times. It was a lot. It closed down a lot too. I think it had a lot of problems. But when we were eating lunch, the ride had reopened, and all you see is just hundreds and hundreds of people running down the street in Cars Land to where this Radiator Springs Racers line. Everybody's just running towards it. They were waiting for it to open. Everybody's just going. We're eating lunch like, we're going to ride that later.
Yeah.
Because originally it had like a 15-minute wait. So everybody was getting down there. But literally like 20 minutes after everybody went down there, it was up to a 75-minute wait already. Mm-hmm. And then whenever we did go to ride it later, it was going to be like an hour wait. And the lady was like, oh, well, if you go into single riders line, it's only a 15-minute wait. And we're like, okay. So we went into the single riders line. And yeah, me and Brian didn't ride in the same car together, but we were on the same like train of cars that went out together. So we were done riding the ride at the same time.
Yeah.
So we still got to ride it, but I think it was worth skipping the hour line. Because, yeah, it was fun, and I would ride it again, but the wait time for it, I'm like, I would just go as a single rider. Like, if you don't mind being separated from your friends and just riding it, or because if you do ride it, get there early, because it's a really popular one. It was a lot of fun, because you load up into a car, and you go through, like, the car's story and stuff, and then you come out, and there's a random car there, and you guys just race on this track. And it's, like, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you kind of just go slowly at first. You do like these things, like at one point you're at nighttime and Mater's there, and you're kind of like in that field with those
tractors.
Yeah, those tractor cows, and they tip over. But yeah, then you get your car all ready up. You get new tires and stuff before you start racing some strangers, which was kind of fun. I think my car beat the people we were racing. And
my car beat the people we were racing too. Me and Brian thought we were going to race each other because we had seen each other at one point during the ride, but he was one car behind me in the race, so yeah, we didn't get to race each other. But it was still a lot of fun. So if you want to ride that one, get there early and ride it, or do single rider lines so you don't have to wait for an hour. Yeah. Which if that was the case for us, we probably would just do single rider again, because it was a lot quicker. There's
a few rides at Disneyland that have a single rider option. So if you're in like a small group and you don't mind getting separated, I think I'd suggest doing single rider, because the line's usually shorter than
and it's only like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. So I went to a car full of people I didn't know, and she did the same thing. But I mean, we
still got to ride it and got off quicker than the people who were still waiting in line.
Yeah.
In the sun. Yeah. And that was the other thing we were taking into consideration, because like some of these areas had like, you were waiting outside in the sun. It's like, well, I'd rather just get on and ride it than waiting an hour in the sun. So the next one, so we rode this one twice, the Little Mermaid Ariel's Under the Sea Adventure, which is just, one of those simple indoor rides. You look into a little seashell and they take you through the whole story of the Little Mermaid with like animatronics and stuff. We rode that one twice because I think at one point we had just eaten and we wanted to chill ride, so we just rode Little Mermaid again. That's like a chill thing. And I also just really like Little Mermaid, so I didn't mind riding it twice. Oh, but honey, the wait time for that one, oh my gosh.
Yeah, 2 minutes, if that. I don't think there was even really a line.
You had to walk through the whole thing, and you just loaded right on. It said 5 minutes. It wasn't even 5 minutes. It's one of those rides where like the cars keep moving, kind of, so you don't even like stop to load in. You just walk on the thing, and you just walk in, and then they push the bar down, and then you just keep going. Which I like those ones because you don't have to wait as often. You just walk in and you just go. So we rode that one twice.
Yeah, if you've ridden like the Haunted Mansion's kind of like that. There's like just these little carts like hold like 3 or 4 people, and they're all like right next to each other, and the pathway is moving as you're getting onto the ride. Mm-hmm. It's like that. We rode a couple, there's like a swings ride that we rode that was like okay, it was really short, and then one that was similar to it where you're just in like this little spaceship thing and you just kind of spun around in a circle like the swings ride. Mm-hmm. That was decent. I wanted to ride the Goofy Sky School, but by the time we got in line for it, we were right in the front, and what do you know? The ride shut down. I was a little sad because it was a coaster and we didn't ride it yet, but that was gonna be like the last ride of the night. Mm-hmm. But since we were at like the end of the line, we actually got a lightning pass. Yeah, so
for
free.
Yeah, we used that later on. We'll talk about that. Yeah. But yeah, because the lady was like, "Well, since you guys were in the front of the line, you waited the longest. Here's a free lightning pass. Go ride something else." And we're like, "Okay, ain't gonna tell us twice." So, so there's a Pixar Ferris wheel that they have. Mm-hmm. So they have some Ferris wheel carts where they I don't know if they spin, but they rock back and forth essentially, and they kind of sway a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like on a track.
Yeah.
So as you're going up higher on the Ferris wheel, it'll start like rolling backwards, mm-hmm. and it's also swinging at the same time. And yeah, it's kind of like on a little track, so it's like really moving back and forth and swinging at the same time. Yeah.
So we had decided also not to do the swinging one because we didn't want Brian to get sick. Yeah. So we just rode the regular one, which is fine. It's just like any other Ferris wheel ride, you know. Mm-hmm. So not really much to explain with that. And then I think our favorite ride in Pixar Pier. You want to tell them what that was, honey?
So we rode the Incredicoaster.
How many times?
3 times.
So that one's also one that has a long wait time. I think they have a single rider line for that time, but we didn't use it because, well, the first time we got in line for it, obviously it broke down because, you know, that happens to us. And then we ended up riding it later. And it's a lot of fun. It's definitely like a coaster, like flat out goes upside down type coaster ride. So
yeah, there's one loop in it.
Yeah, so if you don't like those types of coasters, then don't ride that one. But it was a lot of fun if you like The Incredibles. It's very popular, so it has a long ride. And then we rode again later on. It was right after I think we had ridden on that Grizzly ride, so we were wet.
Yeah.
And Brian was like, "I feel bad. My seat was probably wet." And so the third time we rode it was actually because we got that lightning lane pass from the Goofy ride breaking down. And so we were like, well, like, I'm like, how would we just run over to Incredicoaster and just ride that at nighttime? Because we hadn't ride at night, and I was told it was cool at night. So we're like, that's one we like. So we ran over there, went in lightning lane, scanned it, got on the ride pretty quick, and rode it at night, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the line at that time was getting pretty long. But the lightning pass line was what, 5 minutes?
If that, 5-10. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was nice.
But it was a fun coaster, especially if you like Incredibles. But yeah, if you don't like to go upside down though, it's probably not one for you. We saw some Pixar characters. They had the people from the Emotions from Inside Out. They had old man Carl from Up. He was there. Mm-hmm. They had quite a few rides that were more kid related that we kind of just skipped over. They did at nighttime though. They did the water show or the World of Color show better than any fireworks show. Like this was absolutely amazing. Like it was a little after 9. The fountains come on and they just project like all these different like movie clips and all stuff onto the water, and they play me. It was like It was amazing. And then we had left right before it ended because we wanted to beat the crowd of people because everybody was going to leave at the same time. So we were trying to run after, but it was a great thing. I'm pretty sure you can like look it up on YouTube as well. I'm sure that it's on there. But that was an amazing show. I really liked that. I felt like it was a good way to end our night. Yeah. Was that all of the Pixar rides that we rode? Oh yeah, we did do the turtle time with Crush, which I'm pretty sure people have seen those videos floating around on TikTok and stuff, where you go into the room and Crush the sea turtle is there and he answers your questions and stuff, which essentially we all know there's just some guy hiding somewhere with the microphone that talks to everybody. But that was a lot of fun. I think the kids enjoyed it, but it was just funny because Crush was funny, so it was fun. It was a nice little fun. It was only like 15 minutes, so like it wasn't even that long. So yeah, but that was fun. I really wanted to do that because I'd seen the videos for it. But yeah, we didn't get to do the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout ride. I kind of wanted to, but Brian was a little hesitant on it.
Yeah, I think it's just I don't know. It's just those big drops. So when I was younger, I mean, yeah, like even teenage years, I was really afraid to go on roller coasters and stuff. I'm kind of getting over that now. That's why I was riding all these coasters and stuff, and I have been for the last several years now. But I mean, it's just like, I don't know, the rides that just like drop you, I still haven't really gotten over those.
I love the drop rides. I love roller coasters or rides with drops in them, especially if they're drops in the dark and you can't see them. I love those ones, like the Pirates of the Caribbean one, where like when you're first in there and then you drop. Like, I don't know what it is. I love that. So I'm a little bit of the opposite, but I'm not gonna force. Like, if you go with me to a park and you don't feel like you can ride a ride, I'm not gonna force you to go on it and just to have you get sick. Like, we paid money to come here. Let's just ride stuff that's not going to make you sick. So it's like, that's how I view it. But I think that was most of the Pixar rides we went on. There weren't actually a whole lot of rides in Pixar Pier. So, but if you also...
You mean like the whole Disney, or the California Adventure?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, compared to like, so Disneyland has more of like the classic rides and Pixar Pier was newer, or not, the California Adventure is newer. So... But, I mean, we did also spend a lot of time in Cars Land, too. Because we had lunch there, and we came back for ice cream and stuff, so...
Yeah.
We did meet Mater in Cars Land, because they actually had real cars. Like, they had a real Lightning McQueen car. They had a real, like, Mater car that came out, and you could talk to him and stuff, and we got a picture taken with him. So that was fun, because Mater's my favorite character. So I was like, we need to go get a picture with Mater. And then you could tell when they brought Lightning McQueen out, because there was like a long line of people. So, yeah. It was a lot of fun, though. I'm glad that we did get our buttons. They're free. You just go to like any shop or something and say, hey, can we get one of those buttons? So I got one that said my first visit on it. And people kept telling me, happy first visit. At one point I forgot I was wearing it. I was like, oh yeah, my first visit. And then we got one that says I'm celebrating, and it was we put one for like our anniversary, so we put our anniversary date on it. I think people thought we got married because they kept saying congratulations. It's like, oh, thanks, it's been 3 years, but you know.
Yeah. I just put our like wedding date on there. So. Yeah,
but it was still fun. I just wanted, it was my first time button, which I still have. So if you want to come to Disney with me and you've never been, you can wear my button. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was, I guess, pricey for the two of us, which is why we didn't stay at like a luxury Disneyland hotel. We stayed at a Motel 6 that was 10 minutes down the road. But I mean, that was fine with me. I wasn't expecting much on our first trip, but I think overall it was absolutely amazing. If you are a Disney fan, I would recommend going to a Disneyland park. Probably, though, go when it's not going to be as busy. So I think about this time of year is a good time to go now, right before Halloween, because everybody's going to be there for like Halloween and for the holidays. But I mean, it was still warm, but like I loved it. I loved every minute of my inner child coming out and just enjoying all of the Disney stuff and everything. And it was like 20 years in the making of me finally being there. So now I just gotta look forward to going to Disney World, which stay tuned for that. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but we will go, and then we will make another podcast episode, and then we'll talk about Disney World now, compare and contrast, and then finally decide if I like Disneyland or Disney World better. I know there's more parks in Disney World, so we'll just have to see how I feel about it. So, but yeah, honey, what was your overall opinion of Disneyland?
I love going to Disneyland. It was a lot of fun. And then seeing your face the whole time was fun too.
I was just lining up on everything, especially like Winnie the Pooh. I think he was just happy because he saw how happy I was being there. I mean, also, if there wasn't a Star Wars land, he probably would have been bored.
No, it wouldn't be boring.
Oh, we did buy a bottle of water in Star Wars Land, and it was Dasani brand, but they had on our bottle, it said Dasani and I guess like Star Wars language or something. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of cool because it was in Star Wars language, and it was a bottle of water that said Dasani. I don't know. We thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we covered everything. I don't think I'm forgetting any rides. But yeah, let us know if you guys have ever been to Disneyland, what your favorite rides or least favorite rides are. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to Disney World, but whenever we do, we'll make an episode on that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I recommend going to Disneyland. Only if you can actually afford it, though. Don't go broke going to Disneyland. So, but it was a lot of fun. I want to go again. I would like to go with like some friends or like my sisters or something and have fun with that. But yeah, it was a great anniversary trip. We went to the beach one days too and stuff. So yeah, overall great trip. Loved Disneyland. Loved every minute of it. So glad I got to go with this guy. It was a great birthday gift I got from him. So, but yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts and opinions on how we rated Disneyland rides. If you would rate them differently, if you've been there, whatever else. And make sure you subscribe on Spotify so you get notified every time we post a new episode. Go ahead and like and follow our Facebook and Instagram pages at Autism, This, That, and Everything Else. And yeah, we will see you guys next week with another episode. Okay, bye.
Bye.